Hey everyone, welcome to Doug's Guitar of the Day, episode 6, coming to you from an isolated bunker, secure, alarmed in the middle of nowhere. So today, we have another 335. I started this series with a 58 model 335, which I may do over again because I was using my laptop rather than my phone, and the video and the audio is not quite as good. But I've got three 335s. So today we have one from, I believe, 2016, if I remember right. They call it a late 60s model. It's got the 335's got two kind of horns, really. They've got the more rounded kind, which commonly referred to as Mickey Mouse ears, and then they have these more pointed kinds, which were like in the 60s. So anyway, I remember when we were making these in the Memphis plant, I liked the neck. I was running the Plek machine at the time, and the guitars, which that's a machine that you put the guitar in, it automatically files and crowns the frets for you. Anyway, the guitars I got to put in the Plek machine, they're still in the white, basically. Basically, you have a body and a neck and no hardware or anything that's unfinished. And you put it in the machine then, but I knew when I grabbed the neck, I'm like, oh, there's something familiar about that, and it's comfortable too. Of course, I've got smaller hands. It seems like I say that in every episode. But the neck that I associate with Gibson, I started playing basically in the early to mid 70s. And if I go into a used guitar shop, it seems like all the used Gibsons hanging on the wall had this really narrow neck that I could get my hands around. And that's kind of why I liked it. My grandpa had a Gibson Hummingbird acoustic from that era, and it had that same type of neck on it. And I'm like, wow, I really like that. And that's why I talked my dad into buying me my first SG, which had that same kind of feel to it. So I'm kind of partial to that. You don't see too many skinny necks anymore. The only drawback is sometimes the neck is so narrow from side to side that your fingers kind of get clustered up, if you're making a D chord or something like that. So there is some drawbacks to it, but it feels comfortable to wrap my hand around. Basic 335 construction, and once again, I'm not sure what sunburst this is. I'm going to take a guess and say caramel burst, but I could be wrong. Now, if there's anyone out there on YouTube or Facebook that wants to correct me or verify what I'm saying, either one, please do, because I'd like the information to be as correct as possible. It's just sometimes I don't pay attention to it. Now, initially, if I remember right, when these came through the Plek machine, initially they were called the 69 model, but they changed it to the late 60s model, probably for obvious reasons. But also, I remember, I think the measurements on the neck were really meticulously based off Larry Carlton's 335. Now, Memphis had also made a Larry Carlton model 335. Neck shape was similar. So this may be closer to Larry Carlton's actual guitar than the Larry Carlton model. Either way, I like it. Hardware is chrome rather than nickel. Most 335s I have nickel hardware. Now, I did replace the bridge, and I didn't worry about getting chrome on it. I just stuck a nickel hardware bridge with nylon saddles, which initially it came with plated brass saddles. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's a little piece of wire that holds all these saddles down. And I usually don't like these because I can feel them vibrating when I'm playing the guitar unplugged, or I can hear it kind of buzzing a little bit. It really doesn't make a difference plugged in, but I usually take these off. Now the good thing about these, if you leave them on and you can deal with that, is if you break a string in mid-performance, you know, sometimes if you don't have this wire here, that saddle can pop out and they're easy to lose. So I may regret that I've done this, but I keep this spare in the case pocket, so it's really not that big of a deal. I'm guessing they're MHS pickups. Someone can correct me on that too. They're fine. Now this guitar is a little microphonic. It'll take off and squeal on you if you're using any amount of substantial gain, which I don't. I'm kind of, 70s crunch guy or whatever when it comes to distortion. Your standard 2-volume, 2-tone, 3-way switchcraft toggle. Of course, I got it replaced with the Gretsch guitar strap lock instead of the regular plastic switch cap. Wired and output loaded or 50s fashion, so when you turn the guitar volume down, you still retain the high end. Now, the only drawback to this that I think what some people don't like, let's say you're on your front pickup, okay, and we'll turn everything wide open. Let's say you want to mellow out the tone, so you turn the tone control for the front pickup down all the way. Let's say maybe that's a little bit too loud for the song you're playing. Well, when you turn that down, your highs kind of come back, so it's really counterintuitive and kind of weird. I seem to get around that, but I can understand. And also, your volume drops quicker. So if I were to go on the front pickup, turn the tone all the way off, and then have the volume at 10. Once I turn the volume down to 8, I mean, it cuts off quick. Now, if I were to turn that tone back up a little bit, I'd get some more volume as well as tone back. So that's the whole interactive thing that you got to get used to, and that's why some people don't like it at all. So the lead or treble pickup sounds something like this. The middle pickup, you got that really chimey clarity. And then the front pickup, nice and mellow. You can run that tone control all the way, not completely to 0, to maybe about between 1 and 3. And that's your woman tone, or what I call. It sounds like a woman's voice, basically. So I noticed that, see, I'm already about 9 minutes. My last video, of course, the guitar had a bigger backstory to it. The last video is about 20 minutes. I'm going to try to keep them 15 or under if I can. That's a lot of yakking to put up with, so I won't burden you too much about it. Other thing I was going to tell you, rather than a stop tailpiece, this has a trapeze tailpiece. I think that makes it a little bit more finicky to stay in tune. But and actually, the actual Larry Carlton model, which is similar to this, actually had a stop tailpiece instead of this, and it was actually back a little bit farther than your normal stop tail piece was, but Larry Carlton's original guitar would have had this, and it was replaced aftermarket with a stop tail. So I'm going to try to dial in some music to play along with. After the last video, I figured a backing track is probably the better way to go. And I won't make this too long. This is just a simple, smooth, kind of jazzy type song. Nothing complicated about it, but it kind of shows off what this guitar can do pretty well. So let's see how we do here. Come on. Hey, all right. A little bit of distortion maybe. Thanks. See you on the next one.